Well, hello, everybody, and welcome out to a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful Monday night. Where you're at is probably like 8,000 degrees, but for some of us, it's not, and we kind of wish it was.
We
Just
finally
saying.
melted the snow, so I'm pretty excited.
It took till yesterday, right?
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
finally yesterday.
Exactly. I mean, on the flip side, I'm a little disappointed because my bottle of water, I was chipping off the. Now I have no ice in my drinks.
Ooh.
Sad.
That's
When they
things.
they say it's global warming, no, really it's that my drinks were a little. So I was at the glacier with an ice pick.
What you don't know is that was just his backyard,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where it's been for the last number of years. But anyway,
the Great White North. But on that note, hopefully you are enjoying your year. I know, right now for a lot of areas, it's summer. Kids that you have or kids that are in your neighborhood are out or near out. So, things are about to get a little bit noisier in your neighborhood. And that's okay. That's okay. It's a good thing. They need to burn off some steam somehow, right? But
exactly.
Yeah.
tonight, John, what exactly were you getting into? Because I saw this topic and I'll be honest, I thought about four different directions we were going with it. I'm
Yes,
hoping I guessed the right
we're
one.
going all four directions at the same time, so that way it'll be easily understandable.
Right.
No, we're going to talk about the things that people should carry, or the things that we do carry in our bags, our oh crap bags. That will help save you or save something at the event from becoming a big problem. There's a lot of different things. I mean, I actually literally brought my bag with me.
Oh, you brought props.
I did. Actually, I brought two different things tonight because I've got my personal bag that I use, and I take that with me, and then I've been putting together a couple more bags for my son Nicholas and for another new DJ. So this has been kind of a topic that I have been working with recently. So yeah, it should be fun. Okay. Just getting things all set up into the chat with the chat rooms and such. So we got 4 there. Okay. So when did you, Cubbie, when did you start carrying the oh crap bag or the oh crap gear with you? And how?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and how did you carry it in those early days?
I was lucky that I worked for a DJ company before opening up my own, so I kind of already had the idea. When I branched out onto my own and starting building my company, that we had the gig bag with extras and the old craps and the stuff like that. And I think we've been running that, golly, 18, 20 years, that as long as I've been DJing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I said, but I was fortunate that I was with another company that it wasn't something I had to learn on my own, thank goodness.
No.
And we all had those learn on our own. And there was some moments throughout, oh, I need to grab that from my bag, as after I built my bag, that there's, as things that are trending or things that have like tide pins, for stains for the bride and stuff. I didn't have that originally because they weren't out. So, but it's something that we put in recently, or not recently, but in the last few years.
Tie pins.
Tide pins.
Oh, Tide pens.
Tide. So they get
Yeah.
they spill a little pasta sauce on their shirt or.
Yeah. I've seen those in the bathrooms at a few weddings where that.
Yeah.
And by the end of the night, someone has taken it and tried to write their name on the mirror. I think. I don't know what they used.
All right.
It could have been. So in my situation, when we first started out, we'd put it in a tote that carried the cables, and then over time that became its own tote. And what ended up happening back at some of those early shows, and this is before carrying laptops, so you had your CDs, and there were a couple of things that we would keep in the CD bags, but it was mostly in the totes. And then there were the times where you forgot the tote, or you didn't have much room in the vehicle because you were scaling back to a smaller show. So then you would leave that tote out, and invariably it wouldn't work, or you'd need something and something wouldn't work, and you were needing that. So then it got to be my main DJ vehicle, which is the truck there since 2005. It's got the different cubbies into the things, little areas. It has different pieces, and a lot of the same pieces that are in my bag are in the truck. So it's right. As an example, there's a Shure microphone power supply. I have one that's in there, and when it dies, well, then I come home and I order another one. and replace the one in the truck. And it's happened 3 times over the course of that, but it's always in the truck in that one spot. And when we go camping and the kids open that little compartment up and they're like, a microphone power supply? What do we need this camping for? It's like, you don't understand. That microphone power supply and that Apple power supply have saved my butt, having them there. So that's that. And now everything pretty much is in the bag. So if I don't have the truck, I can survive. If I have the truck, it's bonus. How about you, Dan?
So I started, it was probably 10 years in before I even got the idea of carrying anything. I don't know why, I just didn't. And I started out with just a little plastic snap top, Sterlite, whatever it was, type of container, and used that for a majority of mine for the longest time. And that's what I had and used, keeping it all in. And now I've gotten away from that because I just didn't really have a place to, kind of very similar years, I really didn't have a place to put it. And most of the stuff that was in there, I've been able to put into my DJ bag because now that I'm carrying like a bigger backpack, there's a lot more Cubbie pieces to go that I wasn't using for anything else.
And there's a couple of things that ride in the truck that I would consider that would be backpack worthy that aren't like a backup controller. I've got the little the DJ to go controller, and my boys, they'll put that in their bag, but because my bag is already like super overpacked already, it weighs 77 pounds or something. I don't know. It's just huge, but there's a lot of stuff in there. So I don't have the little the ones that we bring for backup for the DJs in essence will be the DJ to go to. I have a DJ to go to, Newmark DJ to go to. That'll be for one, and then the other was the DJ to go to Touch. I don't know what the difference is. Really, I haven't played with them enough to know a difference, but they both function and they both can work to control music and to do, to have that audio output for what a person's going to do. So, yeah.
I didn't have room for it to carry that in mine, just because I had it stuffed in so much. I actually bought a new bag last year and it was great, but I was used to the one that I had and all the space. And this one, though it kind of looked the same size, I found I sacrificed certain areas that I didn't think I sacrificed, and so certain things that I used to carry, like being able to stick the DJ to go into the bag, that's not happening now. Mm-hmm. So it gets its own little carrying piece, but it just doesn't come into the venue necessarily.
So now, Dan, you've got that rolling cart. Did you put any kind of a spot in there for kind of the emergency pieces?
Yeah. So in I don't have the picture. I probably where it's at, but
yeah.
It right below kind of the first shelf. I put a drawer. I attached it. Attached a drawer. I had some. I think it was a 2-inch or a 2-unit space, maybe a 3-unit space drawer that I'd had for stuff, and so I just was able to attach that right in there. And then there's cables and breath mints and business cards and paintbrush to clean up the controller, like all those little kind of things that can easily go for those events, but not necessarily something I'd have to rob from there when I'm using my when I'm using my Danny Mac stand.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Excellent. So how do we want to start here, guys, or how do we want to work our way through here?
I feel like it's like the old Boggle. That was the game. Like somebody calls one out, all right, scratch that one off.
Yeah. So I got my pen. I'm ready for notes.
Okay. So let's
start to get ideas of what to put in his bag, I guess.
I don't know what John puts in and you put in yours. I mean, this is gonna be great for me as well because, I feel
Okay, let's start here, guys. What is the most used piece of emergency kit that you would have had in your bag that you've used on a couple of different occasions?
Backup batteries.
Backup
batteries where something.
I don't even know if I have batteries
like I thought I put fresh batteries in, and then I get to the event and I realized that somehow I forgot to put them in. So I reach into the backups that are there, and I'm good to go.
I don't even have batteries. in here.
Write that down, John.
Of all the
Write
things
that
that don't have batteries. I mean, I've even got some cash in here in case I have to go buy a bottle of water at an event and I forget my, billfold out in the truck. But I don't have batteries. Okay. So in the description, there's a links for a lot of the stuff that I've been using with building, not only in my bag, but putting the bags together. And I wanted to look at two of them, the very top two, which this is the Odyssey DJ, their backspin 2 bag. And the link is at the top there, down in the description. This bag has been with me since 2016, roughly. And if I wouldn't have it so full, it would look like almost brand new. They just made an incredible bag. The second link is the Rockville version of that bag. And you're going to look at those two and you're going to go, wow, it's half the price. They look very similar, but we did get one of those came into the office here and we compared these things side by side. And there are enough differences and enough nuances that we went and bought another, for the other DJ, we bought another Odyssey bag. It's really one of those things you get what you in this case, you're spending a little bit more, and you're getting some additional features. Specifically, the area in which I think the two are different is the protection for the laptop. So there's more padding, and there's actually a sleeve in the Odyssey version, and there's not in the Rockville. So, okay, so there's things like ink pens. I've got my business cards in the front of mine. I'm going to try to go through some of the things that probably would be uncommon. I have two different mobile devices in my, I've got my cell phones I actually use. This is I think this is one of Lori's old phones. But it still works, and I charge it about once a month. And because I do a lot of Bluetooth stuff, whether it's handling speakers or some lighting, I have this, or it has a bunch of music that I put on it. So it becomes a backup for lighting. It can be a backup for whatever. Charging cables, of course, are something that everyone's got. You got to have the different things. One of them in the links down below is actually the watch and the lightning. I've actually gotten to a couple of events where I've looked at my watch and my watch was just about dead, and it's like, oh, I feel naked without it. So put it on a charger. So 1/8 inch to 1/8 inch is our DJs are using the Roland controllers, the 707, which has a 1/8 inch in the front. So having 1/8 inch to 1/8 inch is critical. I carry a variety of little USB battery packs. I've got, I think, 2 or 3 of them in here. They're in here for a couple of different reasons. First off, if I need to charge a mobile device, yay. But I also use those. You guys have seen those little Sennheiser digital transmitter and receivers, which they use a USB-C type charging port. So I can put this on one of those and turn this on, and it will literally last all night. If I don't do that, they last about 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours. Those little, I don't know. I guess I don't have one here.
Just little sticks.
Yeah, just a little
really.
stick.
Just
I mean,
little
they're
sticks with an XLR on the end.
they're not much bigger than this, which is just a little flashlight that I have in there. I still have a mask in my bag because I have gotten to a couple of situations where I've had people who have come up and they've been wearing a mask, and they're like, I would like to come and talk to you, but I've got some health issues and such, and it's like, no problem. Hearing protection, I think, is a big one to have, and I actually have these are Vomoda earplugs that I've got. I have some acoustic filters. I have a link in there. That's actually the ones that I do with the boys, and I think I've got one of those. I actually like those better than the Vomodas, but I've got the Vomodas here, and I've already got them already messy for my ears. I guess I don't have them in the box. They must still be in the house. Anyway, what I like about the ones that are in the link in the description is that it's a 2-pack. So I already have 2 of them instead of having to pay $40 a piece for 2 here. I think you pay $20 and you get 2 of the nice ones. But I can't believe I don't have batteries.
I win. Right there, that's it. I won.
You did, yeah.
Stumped John.
So I've got a variety of different connectors, which you've got to have. This one is a USB-C to. This is an actual true Apple one, which means that it can do. It has the tip ring sleeve, so it can use a headphone. So if you have a little wired headphone that has the microphone built in, this can use it. They also make these, there's knockoff versions, which the ones that are in the link is a Lightning, which is for the older phones, the Lightning connection instead of a USB-C. Yeah, that's USB-C. The Lightning connection, which looks like that. There we go. The ones that are in the description they'll play audio out, but they will not allow a microphone in, which is what we need most of the time anyway. I have this one for doing, if I wanted to go to Zoom, to do a Zoom thing with the iPad. If I don't, I can still use this to run audio out of the iPad, but I wanted this specific one with my show for those times. I bet I've used these about 20 times over the years. These are RCA to 1/4 inch. Getting to a board at a ceremony, and I have the RCA, the 1/8 inch to RCA, and I needed it. I've got those in there. Oh, I do have. Look, I have them. Okay.
Are they good though?
They're my win.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to say probably not. That's why they're in here. They're probably in there. I carry a little SD card with me, just because there's been times where I needed to transfer a file, and having a small SD card is advantageous for that. Because somebody will come in with a PC and say, "Hey, can you play this off my?" And it's like, "No, I don't have it." Well, let's transfer it. Okay, this is the last thing in this pouch. It is a little USB chargeable, rechargeable. It's a little pointer, clicker for your laptop. Not that I have needed it for my personal show, but there have been a couple of weddings where they're doing a PowerPoint that the bridesmaid is going to be doing something on her laptop, and then she's like, "Oh, can you click every time I nod at you?" No. You know, what do you think this is, Iowa? Hello. No. So I give her, I can plug this in, and they work with any laptop pretty much, and it works wonderfully. The range on this one's actually incredible. I don't have a link. I didn't put this one in the links. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it's a great little thing. And I can leave it in there, and if I'm going to use it, it's I think it's a micro USB charger. Yeah, micro USB. I throw it on a charger for 10 minutes, and the thing will last for a couple of hours. It's fabulous. So that's my front pocket. And one of the reasons why it's heavy is there's 3 of these. And cell phones. So far, how many things do you disagree with that, Cubbie?
Yeah, I don't have those USB chargers. I don't have those. Other than that, I think we have everything else, except we don't have the older model of the Apple product that you have with a wider charger, in the end. The
Lightning stuff and
yeah,
the USB-C. And those are something that I've been putting multiple of those in. I'm going to jump actually over to this little box has got some of the stuff. This is a lot of it's showing up in the area there. This is the one that'll be going into one of the DJs, the other DJ bag. But getting I've got a USB hub right there. Mm-hmm. But because their laptops that they're using are the new 16-inch, they all have USB-C connections. So that means that all of our USB-A, the traditional USB connections, won't work. So we've got to have a hub, and I think somewhere in here is the little adapter. You can kind of see it there to go. So it's a backup to, in case that doesn't work, these will work. I'd rather use the hub, of course, because that's easier. This is one of the cables that I would assume you guys are using some kind of an external hard drive.
Nope.
Oh, you guys have both got everything on? Oh, nice. Good for you. For a lot of us that can't put everything on there because we can't, there's every song we've ever purchased we have to have on a hard drive because what happens if I need it? Yes, I'm that guy who's carrying 2 million songs around. No, actually not that bad. It's music videos that take up. They make a USB-C, but it goes to the USB 3.1 connection. Now that's a typical connection for pretty much every little portable hard drive you can get right now. You can either do it with adapters or you can buy the actual cable that does it in one cable, so you're having less chances of failure on that. those little wires have saved my butt on a few occasions because my multiple adapter things to get it to this type of a connection have died on me a couple of times, and it's like, oh my gosh, this wire works. Yay. I mentioned the Apple connections. Yeah, we just buy it. I've got every kit has got every bag's got two or three of these in there because you end up losing them. These are the Apple for the iPhone, so you can plug in the iPhone and play that song in that, because I've got this really cool song on my phone. Can I play it? And you'll be like, oh yes, I can do that for you, because we all want to do that.
I like saying that I can't, and I love when they look down and see that I've got a cord running into an iPad already. Sorry, I can't. Like, there's no way.
I can't.
I don't know what they're looking at. It's fine.
Yeah, you're just trying to mess them up with your technology. Try to throw extra of the headphone jack adapters from 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch, because we eat those. They just disappear. Another thing that I've had in my kit, but I had to buy a new set of them, is just little first aid packs. Because I think in all of my years, I've used one. Lori's used a few because she bangs her hands up. When she's with, I'm making her move the speakers because, well, why not? So having first aid, and then this is the little fan that I ended up going, these little rechargeable personal fans that can go and sit on the table, or it can go in the little wire hole that is meant to go to bring the wires up from the bottom. They fit in those little wire holes, and they do just a great job of keeping a little air moving in your face, which at times is a lifesaver. It's the step down from the Dan Carpenter hurricane fan that he puts on the floor, and it blows his skirt up like Marilyn Monroe, and people are like, I don't know if I should be excited or, what I'm not sure how I should feel.
I get the extra tips to have it turned off. Just saying.
Yeah, and everyone's got their thing. Okay, headed back to the bag. So in this bag, it's got the front lower spot. And now we're going to go to the front top spot, which typically would be the spot you'd put your headphones. Yeah. Yeah, right. I don't put headphones in
that don't fit in those bags. That's the thing that I will say that. I'm going to add one little piece while he's doing that. I love the fact that they've got that compartment on there. But I don't know many DJs' headphones, other than the people who use in-ear monitors, that fit in a spot for headphones on a DJ bag. It just blows my mind.
This one actually does, especially the headphones. When Vimoda came out with their headphones, and that's what we had gotten, gotten some of those with the DJ News that were on there, whatever. They will fit in there. It's just that means that I have to keep them in a case. And there have been times after I've been done at the end of the night, because I drop them around my neck when I'm doing my thing. So then they're sweaty, and I don't want to put them in a case, and I don't want to put them in a bag. So I want them to breathe a little bit, and then I didn't put them in a case, and then the case gets and then I throw it out. Yeah. So this is where I keep my cough drops, my gum, my breath mints, which are sounding very empty. This is where I keep my little selfie stick in there, so that way, in case I want to do a message, I want to send a little video to Cubbie and say, hey Cubbie, wish you were here. This is so much fun. I can do that. It'll be great.
And don't forget to capture yourself on those DJ poses.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And if I'm not bright enough, I can turn my light on. If I can figure out how to turn my light on, where's the switch on this little bugger?
You need batteries.
Yeah, no, we don't. We don't want no stinking batteries.
It runs off one of the 8,000 chargers.
Yeah.
Sure, now that I haven't used this thing in a long time. There's the charging port. It's like in a corner. Which corner? Anyway, there it is. It's like somewhere here. My little headlight, so I can put this on. So after the event is over, I got that. I've got a bunch of wires, the different charging wires that are in there. Just grabbing stuff and pulling them out. Got some.
John Colley says to save the icebreakers container because it works great for putting the adapter tips into the container so you don't lose them.
Is he talking organization?
No, he's talking about not losing stuff.
Sounds like organization.
Organization would keep it in like a case purposely for adapters.
So that sounds like organization to me, and I just want to be like completely. So little clip light, but I'm seeing that obviously it needs those batteries that I had in the other spot. Yeah, it doesn't have batteries in it. So this would have been really cool if it would have had, batteries to it. And I've got the wet wipes, and I have for dirty hands, Rolaids if they're needed in there. And that's pretty much the front pocket. But trust me, at one time there was headphones in here. There hasn't been headphones in here probably since the first year. But there were headphones at one time.
One thing I do like about, and you mentioned the V motors, and that's what I use for mine. At least now, the case that they come in has like a heavy duty like carabiner type clip that you can then hook to the top strap of your carrying strap off the top of the backpack. That's what I do with mine. So it's not taking space up in my bag, but it's always with my bag. Like
so,
right there where you're
right there. Yeah, this is.
Yeah, exactly what it is.
Yeah, this is it. I believe this was one of them, and you see that it's here, but the case isn't. It was a terrible incident. I was walking down the street, and all of a sudden, it came up, and it was like an alien, a Martian, and he came up, and he's like, "Give me that case, or I'm gonna, liquefy something." And I was scared, and I gave him the case. But I kept the carabiner, so I got that going for me.
Do you really get rid of all your cases, your V-Moto headphone cases?
Literally, I think there's 2 of them sitting on the shelf right behind me up here, just because I haven't used them. Yeah, I mean,
I'm with Dan. Mine is such a nice shell case, and mine goes in my cord bag. And that way, it's always in my cords because I got to carry my cords to every event, and I don't use those headphones outside of my event. So mine goes in my cord bag. But I'm not sweaty like you. I'm not a sweaty baby.
Yeah, you're not a.
I sweat like crazy, but apparently I'm not like John.
Yeah, I know. You guys are doing it nice.
Nobody sweats like John.
So I got the little microphone, a little lapel mic. This is actually not for anyone else. This is so when I do if I'm in a noisy environment, I want to send that message to Cubbie, that selfie. I can use this, plug it in through one of those, the proper white connector, and then I can send him a nice clean audio. It's great. I've got some. Oh, this is still from COVID. I have some masks, actually masks in there.
Okay, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that, like real silverware though.
Yeah.
Like the caterer's already picked up everything and gone for the day, and I've got like a knife and a spoon that didn't get turned in. So I throw them in my backpack.
I think that's literally what it was, Cubbie. I mean, this must have been a napkin from that little spoon kit. Does that mean there's a knife down here too?
Probably.
Yeah. And there was a deck
broken in half.
There was a deck of cards, and then I've got a couple of little
deck of cards. What do you do with a deck of cards?
A deck of cards. Those are for raffles. When you're going to do. Let me see. I probably have to drop this for a second just to grab them.
Do you take a deck of cards, Dan?
Okay, a deck of cards. If we're going to do a raffle for the garter or something to that effect, I'll hand the cards out to the wedding party to divide them up, whatever, and they will go sell the cards, and then they sell it for $2 a piece, $5 a piece. They'll rip it in half. The person keeps half the card, and these become quick and easy raffle tickets. So that way, we are sending them out. There's 54 chances, in essence, per deck that go out there, and then we can get those halves back and do a raffle. We've used this for the garter, that whoever wins can come up and tell the groom how to remove the garter, and then he'll remove the garter and hand it to them. I've used it for right now the meat trays and the beer cooler have been the biggest things. We did those last year. They were really popular, and this year again we have it. So basically, there's a tray of meat or multiple trays of meat that have probably $50 worth of meat on it. And then they'll sell chances, and we can use this, or they can use actual tickets. The ticket, and then they have the stub or the one side, and then we draw from the other. But the cards work wonderfully, and that way you have. And this is a kind of a blue back deck, and I have a red back deck. In the truck, I have 4 different colored backs as my backups there, and it becomes a raffle tickets if there's something that sometimes I need it.
And that's genius, but I've never. You do raffle off meat at a wedding?
Oh yeah. They do. Instead of
Minnesota's weird, dude.
I live in Iowa. Do you think I thought it'd be weird?
Instead of doing the dollar dance, we have the dollar dance has really gone to the wayside. They've been doing meat raffles, or they've been doing the bride cooler that has some of the bride's favorite alcohol and the groom's favorite alcohol. So it's like $150, $200 worth of alcohol, and then a cooler. It's usually a Yeti cooler, and they'll raffle that off. And I'm not even sure if they are actually making up the cost of it, but it's been a thing, and people. My guess is where someone, and maybe somebody in the chat room will know this one, if they would actually be doing this to try to keep people around, kind of like at the high school dances, is that they would have a drawing at the end, that we're going to give away a $500 scholarship or whatever. I don't know. It's probably way more than usually $100 or so, but yeah, they're going to give away something at the very end, so the kids had to be there to win. That's pretty much what it's been as far as the folks have done that. So that could be it. I really don't know, but yeah, it's been a thing, and
wow.
Now
once you use a deck, it's gone, right?
Oh yeah, because they rip the cards in half. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like this idea in one aspect, because the deck of cards is going to be relatively thin. Like you carry around a roll of raffle tickets, and it's like you get down, it's like like 12 feet across. But I would caution, not you guys, because obviously if you've done it, it's fine. I would caution you though to suggesting it to your couples, because you might be in an area where that would be deemed illegal, aka Pennsylvania.
And that could be certainly a possibility.
You have to have a small games chance license, and like if they want to do it, if they want to run it.
Oh yeah, and that's really
but you announcing it can open yourself up to some potential problems.
Yeah.
Just and again, you could do it 1,000 times and never get caught.
And then there's that one time
is when you get nailed. So just I'd throw that out there. But wow, that's different.
That's the on the spot raffle that's awesome. 52 cards. It's
Gus, I've heard of stuff like that at he mentioned Stag and Does, right? Like those types of parties, prior, but I've never heard it done at weddings. But that's
Okay, and the rest of the are in that section of the bag are things similar to what I showed you from the box, that are the different connections and things. So in the middle compartment is where the laptop is, and in the middle compartment I have multiple hard drives also, and I have my little I put a replacement one kit in here. This is where the iPads will go. I have another battery, another power piece that sits in here.
Go figure.
Yeah, and because this was pretty much, this one is where the laptops go, I will have in the middle section, I will have my main laptop, I will have a backup laptop in there, and then, of course, I've got the cell phone that is in the front. That's a backup that always stays with this bag. Then I'll have 2 iPads that are traveling with me, and then I'll have 2 actual cell phones. So there's multiple devices. But I put the 2 laptops in this center location, and I have the power supplies for both of them. And then I have a backup, in the truck. So I have in here a little device that is a Wi-Fi it's a little network to make a little Wi-Fi network. There have been a couple of times where I have had to have a network. I couldn't just connect my laptop to something, that I needed to have a network put together. So I ended up picking one of these little guys up, and it worked very well for making a network here, and then I can connect with it to the different devices, and then the devices will talk back and forth. And it's powered off USB, so it works really well with those little little power supplies. And then I have some different little breath minty type things that I keep in my bag. Those are unopened, so once they're open, they move to the front of the bag. And then there's the final spot in back, and that's where I have my little fan. This is the one that I will personally use. Can you feel the air? Feel the air?
Yeah.
You're feeling it all the way over here. It's like my hurricane band.
Yeah,
I feel it so strong.
It is. They are a pretty. This was something Alyssa picked up for me because I would have a 5-hour energy thing that's in the truck that I carry with me. And she's like, you should just get some of this Run Gum. It's got caffeine in it. And, then you don't have the 5-hour energy kick thing. You can kind of nurse that along. Backup microphone, wired handheld microphone. And of course I have a couple of different pieces there of foam for the different microphones, whether it's the little sleeve that bends though, because I bought a bag of those little sleeves to go over the end of it, or I've actually got this one's got the kind of the foam wind. This would be if it's really noisy for a ceremony and I had to go with a mic stand and I have to go, this is basically that ultimate backup one. The power supplies, it looks like I've got a couple of them in here. Wire connection. Just trying to see if there's anything that's semi-unique. Okay, how many of those do I have in here? Holy cats. Oh, and then I carry extra cheaters with me in case my glasses something would happen to break the glasses. I can function with a pair of cheaters, not very well, and I have to change them because I can wear one pair of cheaters for driving, and I would need to have another pair of cheaters for DJing, and I'd have to have a third pair of cheaters for actually reading. But I have the ones that would get me through. These are the DJing ones. The others are in the truck. One thing I didn't find, and I do have in this bag somewhere, is a little sewing kit that has a little. It has some thread, white and black thread, and a couple of sewing needles. And I didn't see that in there. It must have been in one of those little pockets that I scooted through early on, and I missed it. So, yeah, Robin, I didn't have the networking device on the list there. I didn't. I had completely forgotten about it because I had only needed it. When we were first getting into doing some things with some lighting that was Wi-Fi lighting, and I was trying to use it there. And then there was I tried to use it. I had used it one time with the Airstream stuff when we were first doing it. Actually, I didn't. I think Michael set it up. Other than that, I've only used it for transferring files back and forth is when I've used it, because that gave me a better connection for transferring files. So yeah, that's my mess, but that gives an idea. It doesn't have. I didn't have in there a multi-tool, the like your Leatherman multi-tool. That's in the truck, and every vehicle we have has got one of those in there, a multi-tool. So in essence, that could have been in the bag, which I probably should get something for the boys' bags. That makes sense. Yeah, otherwise power supplies and all the different, anything that basically could die on me, and all the pieces that would need to be to do a workaround. That, maybe you guys saw the video where we were playing with the Everse 8, and we're talking about how to do a workaround for getting audio through your system. Yeah, all those cables and such that would be needed to go from that DJ to go to the Everse 8 down to, because for some of the shows that they're going to be doing this summer, they're using the Everse 8 and the 12-inch subs, because that gave a really good sound, and the flexibility of being able to go and run it normally, run it off Bluetooth to have music with a microphone at the first speaker, run a 1/8-inch cable to the first speaker, and then have music. It's just there's enough flexibility that they're going to go. Yeah, there we go. Robin mentions a sewing kit is $1.25 at Dollar Tree. Yeah, they're cheap, but it's been used twice. I've never sewn anybody's pants, but I've given it to someone with the idea that I'd never see it back. I mean, it just is because they're a buck or two. And in both cases, the aunts, or whoever, came in and said, "Oh, this was, thank you so much, and here you go." And it's like, "Oh, okay, great."
So going along with that, I have suspenders.
Ooh.
In my I know you always carry them with me when I in my clothing bag in case I get a dad. Those tux pants, they fit 40 to 40, size 44, or 30 to 35. They fit a wide range of waist. And sometimes those things on the side of those tux pants break, they strip out or whatever. Or you have a portly fellow kind of like myself. So I've got suspenders that they can throw the suspenders on, throw their vest on, and then they don't see the suspenders. I always carry suspenders, so I've saved a couple dads' pants from falling down.
Nice.
Or having to switch on jeans pre-ceremony because the things on the strip. And I don't know, I got suspenders for $5 off Amazon. And
Hmm.
if I send somebody home with a pair, then I just pick up another pair.
That's actually a
Good
really good
saver.
idea. I'm making a note of the Tide pen and because my bag is not quite heavy enough.
Yeah, you got to make it heavier.
Yeah. So I'm gonna.
So I was looking over because I'm looking actually at my own emergency kit, like the tote that the little small tote that I would do, like some of it's still sitting over there. So I'm seeing like a like shout wipes, which is instead of the Tide
Yeah.
pen or whatever that we had.
Yeah.
But you didn't mention lint roller,
Oh, yeah.
which kind of surprised me. Tissues was another thing that I made sure that I carried. Those went to everyone. I know there's a couple other things. I should just like walk over and get it. But um, DMX Terminator was another one
Hmm.
that I had that I did. Just because like for the most part I'm doing wireless with almost everything now, so I usually don't run into an issue. But every once in a while when I was running cables, I would just get something like the unit would start acting funny for just some stupid reason. It's not like I had a long chain or anything like that. I throw the terminator on the end of it and suddenly it would like fix it. And then it wouldn't do it again for the next, I don't know, 30, 40 gigs, whatever. And then all of a sudden now I know where it would do it
You
again.
do it
So
again. Hmm.
little terminator and just to plug in and make sure that was good. Safety pins was another one. Rather so John has that little corded mic to plug into the phone. I have a Bluetooth one. Very
Hmm.
similar in style to the ones I think some of you have seen with like Rachel Lynch's videos, right? Where she's got just like clipped there.
Yeah.
Similar type of idea, different version, but makes it nice and easy for that. And then you mentioned adapters, so I'm assuming you probably had this, but not just quarter inch to RCA, but I've got like XLR to quarter inch, things of that nature, because I've had some, especially some videographers who like come up to my system and have no way to plug in, but they want to plug in.
Hmm.
And they didn't come prepared with the right device, even though I tried to tell them what to come with. So I make sure that I have something for that as a backup. And this is another one. So it's funny, you have your deck of cards to auction certain things off. Do you carry a garter?
No, I don't. I've never carried
That
a.
is something that is one that I put in. Never had to use it. Bought it at like Michael's or something like that, some craft store, and it's been in my box ever since. And you know, rarely people are doing garters anymore, so
Yeah.
it's not like
Right.
it's being even used or would even really probably ever be needed. But I have it just in case. You
And
know,
then
like I get
if
there and
you're
go, oh,
yeah if you're wanting to feel a little pretty, you can wear it too.
Going along with the garter with Dan, um, I have a cake cutting
Hmm.
knife and fork, the a little bit
mm,
more because sometimes they forget it or they didn't buy one, and you try to go to the kitchen or the venue and they just have like a big sharp knife or whatever.
Yeah.
So I actually have a cheap spatula, like the silver plated knife and spatula, not super not sharp or whatever. But I have that. I carry fire starter in
Hmm.
case I have to light
mhm.
candles or they didn't bring it. Once again, you're trying to find it, light it stuff. And then one thing you didn't mention, and Dan may have been mentioned it, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dan. I apologize. Would be the voltage meter from Ben Stowe. Each one of my DJs have one of those to check the power outlets.
Hmm.
It's something as well as that, but that's a little of a pricey investment if you're multi-op because it's a $50 purchase. It's not much. I mean, but
Yeah, but
if
it can
you're
save you a headache
yeah.
in a huge amount of way. Um, yeah, definitely. I'm surprised. You know, here's another thing. So a lot of us have like Cubby and I, we both mentioned we run off the hard drive rather than having the externals. But those of you that have externals, the flash drives, right? The little flash drives now are getting to the point you can get like 400 gigabytes on one or something, something insane. MJ told us last year, maybe it's 2 years ago now, like the Surface Pros have like a hidden spot for the mini SD cards.
Hmm.
And so they don't have a lot of storage space on them. So in mine, I have all of my music backed up onto just one of these.
Hmm.
All the music that I'm going to use, and I update it about once a month or whatever, and that runs with me. This is something that if depending upon the size of your wallet and that kind of thing, you could potentially just throw one of these in there, so you'd always have a backup, kind of running with you. Obviously, you want to be careful just because electronics and bending and all that kind of stuff. But for what they cost now, especially for getting something huge like that, and it's it's an SD card. It's not moving parts that you have to worry about, like some of the mechanical hard drives. So
MJ actually in our discussion, he gave us a USB A and USB C. I've got the link here for it. I'm going to put that into the chat. So that's the unit that MJ was talking about, because I ended up buying and using. I got a little micro SD, the tiny little micro SDs, and one end of it has USB C and the other end was USB A, so it can work on either laptop. But you put your little micro SD in there, and I think I picked up I think I've got a 1 terabyte that I put in there. So that was more expensive than the $9 reader, the device, but all the basic music is on that, and that was another thing that's in all the bags. It's not in my bag right now because I was actually using it to update it the other day, and I didn't put it back in because that computer is still sitting in the house. So, yeah.
Yes, if your device doesn't have an SD reader, that gives you another easy
Option.
way to attack that.
Yeah, it's surprising how many don't have that anymore. Gaff tape, of course, is Robin mentioned gaff tape. That's I think every tote I have has got gaff tape in it now. It's got a roll of NLFX. Some have got 4-inch, some of them have 2-inch. Safety pins, yeah, up. I thought there was something. Gus mentions using a stapler or black gaff tape, duct tape for clothing emergencies. I've seen the stapler done a couple of times, and I heard one guy who had stapled his pants together, and the staple got him. But that'll learn him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the mentioning here that they have a small pair of sewing scissors, and every week they get comment that somebody has a new suit and they have to go and cut the tags off. That's funny.
Oh yeah, off the sleeve.
Yeah, that's funny, and I can see that happening. Anything else, guys, that we missed? We've got a lot of good. I've had another. Looks like I'm adding another 3 to 4 pounds of stuff to my bag, so I'm pretty excited about this.
Now, if you start running with it,
yeah. Woo.
I think you just at some point, you really almost got to kind of consider a different type of carrying device. Nothing against our backpacks and stuff like that, but I think to make this ideal, having a duffel bag, a small duffel bag with a lot of compartments, so that you can be able to access the stuff easily too. Because if it's an emergency and you really need to get to it, you don't want to have to go digging 12 different deep, in just to get it.
Actually, thank you for that. You mentioned in a case of a real emergency. This is in the side, in the very easily accessible pocket, is rubber gloves. So if there's a situation where someone is out they're bleeding and need some, that they are literally right here in the side, quickly accessible.
And I know some of you are watching this, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this in recording, and you think maybe half the stuff is stuff that I would never have to need that, or it's not my responsibility. You're right. In a lot of this aspects, right? Somebody splits their pants and it's not yours. It's not your responsibility. But that doesn't mean you can't be the hero.
Oh, exactly.
That doesn't mean that, and that's the thing that you got to keep in mind is some of this stuff, yes, it could save you, but for some of it could just be steps that you're doing to make sure that everything is as perfect as it goes. And chances are people are going to remember that, right? They're going to remember what you did, especially, John, you mentioned the sewing kit from the aunt, right? Mm-hmm. She's going to remember that you were able to help them out. We thought we had the dress and everything was figured out, and something happened and you were able to help us, and that meant the world to us. And even though you sucked as a DJ, we were going to hire you for every wedding because of it.
Exactly. Every time we need
sweaty.
Yeah, you're a sweaty mess, and you can't do it. But you've got a sewing kit.
Yes,
exactly.
We had to give you batteries, but you gave us a sewing kit.
Yeah,
so
exactly. There was that. You had this fan. It didn't move much air. We're all disappointed.
It's amazing. Like I said, it was a great show tonight because I got to learn what John put in there, and there's some things I took notes as well. A few of the cables that I didn't realize that they haven't hit me yet, but I don't. When they do hit me, like I share with my brides and grooms, if it happens to me once, it's not going to happen to me twice. So now with some of John's ideas and some of Dan's ideas, it's not going to hit me once. So those are great ideas.
Just I was going through. Go ahead, Dan.
I was just gonna say when you're talking about the charging cables, one thing that just kind of popped in my head is, it's beneficial for you to, if nothing else, to carry some of those charging cables for other devices than what you own.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some like venue staff, like the wedding planner of the venue, right, come over to me and we were talking and she goes, any chance you got a charger for this? Like
Mm-hmm.
because she was seeing like everything else that was there. I was like, yes, I do. And I pulled it out. And she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, can I please charge? Please, can I? And I was like, absolutely, have at it. There's an open outlet right there. And she goes, okay, great. And like she came back and she was able to like check her phone, but also like keep it charging. It saved her night just because she did not expect to run low on her battery and apparently
Mm-hmm.
did not have a charger at work.
Yeah, and in my bag, I've got some of the multi-chargers. There's DeWalt makes these. You can buy them at Home Depot and probably a couple of other places. Well, it's actually somebody who bought the DeWalt name or paid for licensed it through them. But the Home Depot has the same company, their version, and then the ones that they branded with DeWalt. But they have the multi-tip ones that is a micro USB, and then you can put on the Lightning version of the end of it, and you take that off and you can put on the USB-C. That cable works wonderfully for charging all three, and in that there is one in the bag there. So,
Of course.
yeah, you gotta have the right tools. I don't want to do any of those. Okay. There was a couple of other things in the list that was up there that I didn't hit on. Laptop sleeve. My other when I put two laptops in the bag, I like to put an extra sleeve in there. So the one laptop's in a sleeve, the other one is in the built-in sleeve. So that way they're just both protected. Because technically this is only supposed to have for the one laptop because it only has a one laptop sleeve area. But I like to keep them in the sleeve. So I put a really nice little laptop sleeve that I found that works really, really well. And then you see the Mi M6 Pro headphones. Those are little in-ear headphones that are they're like $40, but probably some of the best ones I've used and listened to. I've gone to some of their more expensive ones. I didn't like them. I've gone to, I've had expensive Pioneer ones that lasted me for about 6 months. These I've had, I think I've had some for 3 years that I use on a regular basis. I don't use them for the show because they go over the years, and I don't like that when we're doing these types of shows. I want something that goes in and out quick and easy. But for when I was starting jogging and such, and Dan was saying, "What do you use for headphones in your jogging?" And I was using those on the treadmill, and it was working well. And then I got into the AirPods, the AirPod Pro, and I never went back. But they're in the kit as a backup for queuing. In case I forget my big headphones or my big headphones drop or die or something. So anyway, just wanted to throw that and make sure I hit everything there. So, all right. Let's see. Tomorrow night we'll be dropping we'll probably be dropping the Hanging with Howie show tomorrow night in the 9:00 spot because the Tuesday night with Ben Stowe will be back in July. We're doing just one show, June, July, and August. So tomorrow night we'll have the Howie, and then Wednesday night we'll be streaming one of the music shows, Tuesday Night Music Show. Right now, and we're done. In a few minutes, you can go to djntv.com/chill, and you can go and they're going to be recording a Hanging with Howie tonight. So you go in there and hang out, listen to them record their session, and when they're done, you turn your camera on and chat and have a good time in that. And that starts again at 10 o'clock Eastern, so in about 10 minutes. And then tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern will be the Tuesday Night Music Show with Jay and Brian and Howie and John and Matt. And goodness, there's last week, I think Alex was in that. Alex from Cyprus was in there. So he was getting up, I think they said at 5 a.m. or something to get to the show.
Wow.
But he was there and always is doing that. Tim, laptop cooler, I have never taken one with. I did buy one when that was a thing, but I've never had a problem with the laptop, a laptop overheating, knock on wood. So I just haven't had to do that. When I did do one event where it was outside and it was very warm, I just used an iPad that day. I don't know if that was a good idea or a bad idea. I just did, figuring that if the iPad crapped out, I could still go to my laptop instead of having my laptop get crapped out and then having to, let it cool off before I used it for my in the thing. So, okay. So that's that. And then, Dan, I've got a spot dropping tomorrow. Dan's got a spot dropping Wednesday morning. And then, we're back. And then next Monday night, we'll be back next Monday night. I'll be back next Monday. And then in 2 weeks, guys, you guys will be doing, won't it?
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
July
That'll be
3rd?
the beginning of July.
Yeah.
Yep.
So goodness, we're almost to the 4th of July. But yeah, so So yeah, we'll be with you the next couple of Mondays. So plan to hang with us about that 9 o'clock Eastern, and we'll see you then. So Dan, take us home, and we're gonna get Howie up next.
Will do. Thank you very much for taking time out of your night to join us. Hopefully you were writing a list, and if not, the great thing about YouTube is you can go back and view it again. So make sure you get your list out, start making your bag or start making your box, whatever happens, and carry these things because, again, you never know. These are just in case. Hopefully you never have to use them, but if you do, they're there for that purpose. So have yourself a great night. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.